to Busan, more or less, or there it's a bit different with the temperatures, but still, because they are at the seaside. Here it's quite cold, and it's still dark, as you see.
Yeah. No, I couldn't understand if it's the settings or
No,
it's really outside. It's the window and the trees there, or
yeah.
the shades, or because I mean, this is what people now do when they do Zoom. They investigate the rooms more than everything. It's like, yeah, it's like you just look at what's going on in this room and what's the time and the weather and the design and.
But quite a lot of people also put the wallpaper beside, or they just have the picture. So
Yeah.
so yeah, this is how it looks outside now.
Yeah.
It's same for
tomorrow
us. It's
it will
still
be
dark.
a bit worse. Yeah.
You in the States or Spain now?
No, I'm in Madrid.
Ah, yeah.
I live here. And I'm here more or less permanently, and it's still dark.
Yeah.
So, and the cats have been fed, so they will hopefully not be walking in front of the computer. So.
Yeah, I have my cat here.
Yes. We have two, and they have just been fed, but every once in a while they want to get in on the act.
They just, I mean, what's the thing about cats and keyboards?
For us, for me, it's just that when the cat isn't getting enough attention or when he's hungry, he will jump on the, over the computer. It's a very clear signal.
Yeah, it's a multi-function instrument for cats, I guess. It's like it's a heat source, attention, something they can, put their nails into. So
makes
all
interesting
the
sounds.
Exactly.
We make interesting sounds when they jump on the keyboard.
Yes, like screaming and no.
Hello, everyone. So actually, Cyrus, we are waiting for Cyrus. I'm just calling him. Just one moment, please. Hello, Cyrus. Okay. We'll just go slowly from introduction of the program, so don't worry, and I'll meet you soon. Oh, I will just do the introduction first, so don't worry and get back slowly. Okay.
That's funny. He's the only one who is not
Please
in the morning.
Sorry.
Oh, it's because of his computer. His computer connection is bad, and then he's trying to log in again with another different computer. So I think we can slowly start first with the introduction of this program. So the program now is called Roundtable, and this is online part of the online program of the 11th Busan International Dance Market. And I'm very grateful to have all of you as this year's special delegates. And I hope we can share ideas and thoughts, brainstorm about the subject today, which is post-pandemic, our future for international cultural exchange. So to just go over the rough plan for today, I will start with how the order of today's roundtable will be. And then there will be an brief introduction of BIDAM from musician, the artistic director of Busan International Dance Market. And she will present post-pandemic international exchange, how we are doing it at BIDAM. Then next, we will go from Absalom Polak and John Jurek, Katia Somlak, and Laura Kumin to share their own stories of how they're dealing with this post-pandemic situation at your country, also at your organization. And after that, we will all talk together about how we can overcome or find a solution or the alternatives at nowadays circumstances. And then it will go back to me for closing. So we will start with the musician introduction of BIDAM and how we are doing international exchange at BIDAM.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much early morning. We have been through very experience event this year. Thank you very much. 포스트 코로나 시대의 국제문화 교류에 대한 관한 주제로 부산 국제축마켓 비담에서 주제를 가지고 라운드 테이블을 진행하겠습니다. 5개국, 슬로베니아, 미국, 체코, 스페인, 이스라엘의 5개국의 패널들이 각국의 상황을 잘 설명해 주시고 그리고 그 대안에 대해서 자유로운 토론을 할 수 있는 프로그램으로 진행하겠습니다. 한국은 코로나 시대에 사회적 분위기가 심각합니다. 그리고 예술가들은 깊은 고민에 빠져 있습니다. 어쩌면 개인이라는 큰 자산이 큰 변화를 발견할 수도 있다는 기대와 희망을 해봅니다. 자, 그러면 우리 패널들의 이야기를 시작하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
She mentioned that there is a big blue, not very positive situation happening in Korea, but we are trying our best to find the solution and to continue what we are doing. And we are curious to hear the stories from our delegators and what's happening at their country and their organizations. So, actually, most of the audience could be Korean for today, so it will be translated with the subtitle. So let's start with the Absalom Polak from Absalom Polak Dance Company. Please introduce yourself and let us know about some of your organization. Please, thank you.
Oh, hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. So I have a company in Israel, in Tel Aviv, which is currently is not doing too much because of the situation as other places in the world. I can tell you that for the last 20 years, I was cooperating with my partner in Baal Pinto, and we created together creations and travel all over the world, including Korea. We've been in Busan, I think 7 or 10 years ago, a few times in Seoul. And mostly the production that we do, I can't really, name it as a typical style or thing. I think it's like every time we create a different kind of universe, depends on the creation, participants, collaborators, etc. That's something I can say for now about the company. About the situation that we're dealing with in Israel, I mean, when the pandemic kind of struck I had the feeling that it's not going to be so difficult because in art in general or creation or dance, there's always the situation of struggle and being in the situation of something which is unknown. And I thought it's a part of it. So other people can share the same situation as artists or creators or dancers, which everything can stop or fail or you cannot do something, etc. But in the same time, we tried in the company to find solutions, to do something, to keep on going, no matter the situation is. It's very strange that art and performances are one of the fields that were really suffered or suffering from the situation badly, that everything is kind of stopping in this situation. And it's like, I wonder why the food for the soul is stopping when there is a pandemic. So why can't we find like something that keep on this creativity going in a way? And I guess this is the human nature, to stop this field when there is a problem. But for us, I mean, for the artist, I think the situation creates something that, on one hand, there is a big pressure of the inability to do things, but on the other, if an artist is a strong, persistent person, they will find ways to keep on going no matter what. And this is what we try to do, to keep on going no matter what. And to overcome the virtual world that is kind of put upon us, which is okay, but it's not the thing. I think it's like we're creating a live art or performances that we need the interaction. And we try to think how this can continue. No matter, I mean, if the theaters are closed, if we cannot perform to more than 10 people or 20 people, if we take the art outside, which is safer, if we build something for the future, if we address the present, as artists do sometimes, if we try to escape the present, as artists do. So I think the secret for us in a way is to try and keep on going no matter what, and to keep the communication flowing.
Thank you, Absalom. Is there like specific plan for you for how you will, or your like special ideas that how you could try or continue international exchange in the future?
It's really tough because of the situation, of course, everything internationally is stopping as well. There's no flights, there's no entering to countries, etc. I can say that in our case, it was very important to keep the international connections kind of going and not to put them on hold, and to think and to plan and to dream about something that even if it doesn't really happening, I mean, I'm facing now with 3 different kind of projects that I'm trying to juggle and to find like how this can be done. One is a project that I'm doing with a musician in Japan. Another one is an opera production in Brussels, and everything is like a little bit, okay, when the borders are going to be open, when can we travel, how can we create a deadline for something, because the deadline is keep on kind of pushing, because there's things which is unknown, or going back when something kind of changes. But still, as I said before, as long as we are in a way optimistic or positive about the situation that will change eventually, we need to keep on trying to do something, or to work, or to think about, okay, if this is going to be possible, how can we do that? If things is not possible to do anyway, what can we do from our home, or how can we continue the conversation, or to plan something ahead, etc., etc. So I think the most important thing, even in international kind of connections, is to keep on the connection, to keep on talking and thinking and exchanging information until the moment that things will a little bit move or change, or to find what are the solutions in this situation that we can do.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I think we are all trying for the same. I mean, looking at the same goal. Yes. Thank you, Abshalom. Now we would like to hear from Jan.
Good morning.
Morning for you.
Okay. My name is Jan Jurek. I'm director of Divadlo na Cucky. We are artistic space which is focused on visual art, theater, and contemporary dance. And our space consists of a venue which is based in the center of a very beautiful historical city called Olomouc. We have 3 stages, and one is the main stage for performances, and 2 are rehearsal rooms. And our program is very diverse. It's not only theater and dance, it's also a lot of talks and educational activities. Most of them are artistic education. And in the field of dance, we organize performances, and we host, most of them are hosts from Czech Republic and from abroad. And we do a lot of artistic residencies. So let's say at least between 10 and 15 artistic residencies every year. And that's one of our connections, that in 2019 we hosted artists from Busan, and this connection started after my visit of BIDAM festival 2 or 3 years ago. So that's us. And what about the situation? The first wave of pandemic in Czech Republic was managed quite well. We had very fast and very strict reaction, and the result was that there wasn't a so big number of dead people and sick people as in other countries in the EU. And after this first wave was almost ending, we finished the cultural lockdown, and the culture summer in our country was quite diverse, and a lot of stuff was happening. And this was also opportunity for us to make cultural activities, and to take some part of money and budget that we had for spring, and we moved this program and activities to the summertime. So we organized some extra residencies and extra program which was happening in the streets and squares. So there was a big focus for our company to invite some new circus performances, dance performances, theater, which was happening outside. And I decided to make a special open call for artists who deal with issue or topic social distancing. So it was a dramaturgical line called Social Distance Celebration, and there was initiation of a number of new performances which were dealing with this topic. Some of them were created in our city as part of residency program, and some of them were invited here and presented here as new pieces. Yeah. Today's situation is not so good. We had election in September, and our government didn't want to make strong restrictions before the elections. So the result is that now we have a really big number of sick people, and the second wave of pandemic here in our country is really strong. We don't have really good numbers, and that means that the cultural lockdown is here again. And I'm a bit afraid that this cultural lockdown will be here for maybe a longer period. So we'll see what will happen next.
Yeah, we are all have a similar situation, having difficulties. Let's continue to hear the stories of Slovenia from Katia Sommak.
Hello, I'm Katja from PTL, which is Dance Theatre Ljubljana. I'm a deputy director, programmer, creative producer. Dance theatre actually exists from 1984. We were the first actually theatre for contemporary dance in the capital, in Ljubljana, and also in the ex-Yugoslavia. At the end of 90s, we actually opened the theater venue for contemporary dance. And we are the NGO which is dealing with contemporary dance. And most of today's choreographers and dancers actually came from PTL, and now they have their own companies. PTL enters the international collaborations, we produce, we co-produce, we have a festival, we host sometimes. Our festival, UKREP, which is in translation taking measures, it's biennal, it exists from 2008. And it's each 2 years, and it's supposed to be in, it was actually in also in this year, but because of the situation of COVID, we decided not to cancel it, because it was planned for June. The situation in Slovenia was not really good at that time, and also now we just locked down the country again. So we are experiencing, because in in spring, we were actually the first to say, yeah, we don't have any COVID anymore. We were the first one to say, no, there is no epidemic, which it depends who you ask, but you know, it is perhaps that was not really a smart one, and they didn't prepare for the second wave. That's my opinion. So now the number of people with COVID actually really rises, and now we just have this lockdown again, which is actually worse than it was before. So how we deal with this? We opened the theater we closed in March and opened in June. So festival was the first thing internationally, with the first festival who had international artists. present also. We managed to have 26 performances, also outdoor, ondoor, video, online, offline, whatever. We actually did whatever it was possible. So it was quite good. And also in June, the weather in Slovenia, it's really nice. So we had quite a lot of outdoor performances. Nowadays, this is a bit problematic because we are experiencing quite cold weather and the winter is coming. So let's see, we still have 3 premieres to fulfill the program because we are subsidized by the Ministry of Culture and the municipality of Ljubljana. So I'm having fingers crossed and I'm trying to do, I think, already the 6th variation of our programming in the theater. Even we just can have like 22 people audience. So it's like, let's see what happened.
See. Well, still, I think it was very lucky for the PTL to still continue the festival and then introduce international pieces. I hope, really hope that your premieres and the continuous projects could also be on the theater.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's also, I planned the program, which was quite international. So we are having one choreographer from Spain in November to work with the local artists, with local dancers. So I hope she will be able to try to travel. Otherwise, we will do again the Zoom situation, choreographing with the assistant here. So let's see. I have fingers crossed.
Yes. I mean, of course, the direct interaction is the best, but I think Zoom is also if it at least it happens, it should happen. Thank you, Katia. And I would like to welcome Cyrus there. he was a bit struggling, or is he stuck maybe? I think his image is stuck. So I think we will go continue and send the mic to Laura Cumin from Spain. Hello, Laura.
Hello, good morning from our time here. It's still dark. I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you for this invitation. I'm the president of an organization called Paso a Dos, which is a step taken by 2 people. And we have been working since 1987. So we are a very small organization, but we are very tenacious. Our biggest activity, the best known activity, is a national platform for supporting emerging contemporary dance artists. It's called the Certamen Coreográfico de Madrid. It's a national platform for choreographers from Spain, wherever they live, and for international choreographers who live and work in Spain. And we decided not to make it an international platform because there are several international platforms in Spain. Madrid gets usually a lot of international programming, and we thought it would be better for our resources to invest them in the field itself. So while it is a national platform, we have a lot of international activities. It began just sort of as a choreography competition, but it has grown in the past 15, 20 years, and we now have a very large international component. There are about 27, 28 prizes offered this year. Many of them are residencies, some in Spain, but also some abroad. Also scholarships. We have a long-standing collaboration with DanceWeb, with the American Dance Festival, with Bassano del Grappa, with B-Motion Festival in Bassano del Grappa. And we are starting a new 3-year collaboration with Taiwan that we've been working with them, with Wei Wu Ying in the south. And we've been working informally, doing exchange there. And now we are starting a new international project. And we've also been partners in several Creative Europe projects. And right now we are just beginning a new project called Performing Gender Dancing in Your Shoes. For us, this situation, and we are also Spanish partners for Aerowaves, the Aerowaves network, since the very first year. So we have a very big dedication to the field in Spain, but we have a lot of international collaboration. It's really important for us. It's important for us in terms of what we can do for Spanish choreographers, but it's also important for us for getting to know work from other countries, makers, presenters, directors. People come to sit on our jury and to give workshops. And so this is a big, big component of our work. Right now, we are, in terms of the certamen, of the platform, it is being held from the 9th to the 13th of December. We knew from the very beginning that this was, our activity, the big activity that happens in the theater was happening at the end of the year. And we have been making plans and contingency plans and plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, as all of us, I think, have. So far, the situation in Spain is not a good situation, but theaters began to open up in July. Not all theaters, private theaters, most of the private theaters and the larger theaters can't afford to open up because with the restrictions for the house size, it's just not, it's not economically feasible. But national and regional, government-run theaters are opening with between 50%, and that might be reduced to maybe 40% house size and security measures. Also, some of the outdoor festivals, because the weather here is easy to work in the summer, outdoor festivals began to sort of reappear in August, September. And so we are going on. However, every day, I still don't know, I still have a meeting for the week after to speak with the people at the theater because from day to day, everything changes. For us, it was extremely important, given the fact that we have a long history of accompanying artists and helping to identify creative potential and support it. And we do this because we have this very, very large network of collaborators that help us to provide all sorts of opportunities. So for us, it was really important that we do celebrate the certamen at the end of the year, because it's a strong message for carrying on. And because we have the willingness of our partners to give these prizes, even though they may be, some of them from 2000, the prizes that were given in 2019 were to be carried out in 2020. And many of those residencies have been postponed till 2021. But none of our partners have said we can't do this. So for us, it's a big, it's a responsibility to say, we're doing what we can to help you carry forth and grow. The Aerowaves meeting that is happening next week will be online for most of us. But this is also a big international opportunity for promoting work from Europe through all Europe and also through other countries as well, because we're also working with other countries. But Spring Forward, the platform that happens, that usually features the 2020 artists or the 20 selected artists each year, was online in 2020. But I think for us, we really we're fighting very hard to keep this live, also because we need connection. Zoom is really useful and it's giving us a way to go forward. But I think when we talk about exhaustion, I think part of it is the exhaustion of not connecting face to face. And we are we are in the midst of seeing how we are going to do this. We have another solo program that's part of the certamen. So between the certamen artists, guest companies, and the solos, we should be having about 33 different companies coming. And we are now working out all of the, all of the logistics, which change from day to day, but to make that happen so that they can get here.
Thank you very much, Laura. It was great to hear the story and how you were trying to support the artists in Spain to continue the collaboration with the international projects and the artists. It was very inspiring.
May I add one more thing?
Sure.
And that is that even though our support is basically for the artists from Spain, the international collaboration also brings us in working with international artists.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the Creative Europe projects that we have been doing, and that we will be doing, it's a big challenge because we're beginning this new 3-year project, which works with communities and dance as a tool for change and empowerment for communities. We'll be working with international artists. So we are not only, we are not only concerned with sending artists abroad, but we are also concerned with bringing international artists here.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm also curious about your 3 years community projects. Also, I hope that there will be another chance to hear about that. And now I see Cyrus. Hello and welcome to the Zoom. It's great to see your face, and it would be actually your chance now to talk about your the situation at your organization and country.
Yeah, first let me apologize. I don't know if you've seen my background change 4 times here. I keep getting kicked off repeatedly. So I am trying to find the best place here to stay connected. So I hope that I found it. I at least heard 70% of what you just said. So hopefully, yeah. So I am the artistic director for Combata Dance Company, a contemporary dance company, and the Seattle International Dance Festival. The Seattle International Dance Festival is in its, or would be in its 15th year this year. And it happens every June. And we generally have about somewhere around 150 to 200 artists participating in the festival each year, about 40 or 50 companies. The majority of those are local or regional companies, and then about 5 to 10 of them are national and international companies participating in the festival. So this year was challenging. We learned pretty much, I think, as we were actually, South Korea had the first, I think it was February 26th was the first case of COVID-19, and it was the same in Seattle. So here in Seattle, we keep comparing ourselves to South Korea and how much better they did it than we did. That is true. I can tell you that much. It is definitely true. Everything is pretty much closed down at this point. So when that happened, we were already pretty much advanced in our planning, and we thought by June it was going to be over. I mean, I think everybody thought maybe it would be over quickly. So we went along. I think we probably delayed our decision to shift things quite late. So we made a shift to an all online virtual program. And the immediate questions were, do we do this free? Do we do this on demand? How are we going to present this so that it's meaningful for the artists, that it's meaningful for the audience, that it has any value, for our community and for the audience. And I feel like we basically made a decision to make the entire programming free, which I actually think was probably a mistake, to be honest. But we did use it as a platform, and we pushed donations, because here in the United States, pretty much everything runs on, our government support is just a very, very tiny percentage based on what you see mostly in Europe and Asia generally. So we depend on largely the public for funding, and that's pretty much across the board, just about any nonprofit in the United States. So we pushed the donations through that, and sort of the goodwill of providing this entire programming free, we hoped that the donations would flow. And they did, but not exactly the way we thought. So it did work, I guess you could say, but not the way we thought it was going to work. So yeah, so that's, I think what's happened now is that as soon as everything settled in, everyone figured out, wow, this COVID-19 is here to stay. Everything is still closed in Seattle, and I hear all of these places that they're already doing programming, and our governor has us basically locked down still. Museums are open, and that's about it at this point. And I just received today where our community is basically opening up through a couple different phases. So 25% filling the theaters, 50%, 75%. They have broken down to 4 different stages. So like Laura, we made about 15 different plans, and we had to like scrap them, which was getting really expensive and challenging and time consuming. And at some point you kind of just throw your hands up in the air and go like, okay, when can we start planning something? When can we actually get some planning happening? And I think what we've had to do is project into the future how long we're going to be dealing with this, and add 6 months so that we can actually get some concrete planning happening. So at any rate, that I don't know how much you want to go into all of the COVID-19 stuff, or whether you want me to focus a little more on what we do generally, but what has happened now, one of the particular projects that I think is of interest is that we have it's an outdoor dance in the urban environment event that kicks off our festival. So it's really our arms open to the community. We get them physical, they're interactive activities. They can see dance happening in this entire part of Seattle, and interacting with the architecture of the park, so that sort of thing. And basically it was canceled. So what I did was I talked to the sponsors. The sponsors are, you probably know them, Amazon, might not know Microsoft, these folks, they sponsor this program. And I went to them quickly and said, okay, well, we can't do this program, but could we do an alternative program, which would be to bring, to go into these, into landmarks in Seattle and bring dance to sculptures, various different landmarks, even businesses. So we worked with the businesses in a certain area to sort of promote, because the restaurants were in the same situation as us. Nobody was there. They were pretty much closed down. And only if they had outdoor areas could they seat people. So we live in Seattle. I don't know if you know anything about Seattle. It does rain a lot, so it's really not very useful to be outside, no matter what you're doing, and nobody really wants to spend time outside when it's raining. So that's not super helpful. So we basically spent the sums that we were given to bring the community together to promote the businesses come 2021, because Amazon and all of the tech industry, they basically sent everyone home until 2021 to work from a telecommute. So they're all working from home. So basically this entire part of the city is empty, which was great because we had very little difficulty getting film permits and, blocking off streets and whatever we had to do, because there's nobody there. It's all tech folks at home telecommuting, which is really fascinating because it was like a ghost town, but it was helpful for us. So we're pushing this mostly through social media, and it was a way for us to work with the businesses, work with the restaurants, to bring the community together, to bring them together around dance, and to sponsor something that we could actually do in this time period. So that's one sort of diversion that we managed to create in the time. And now we're basically planning. We have an event at the end of February, so we've already decided it's all going to be virtual because we can't really plan for, you can't actually plan for plan A, plan B, and plan C. At some point, you have to decide which plan is operable and go with that. So that's where we are now.
Thank you very much, Cyrus. It was nice to hear your voice. And and I think it's also inspiring about the projects that you are doing outdoor at Empty City, which is very effective for you. I hope it goes well, and I'm very curious to follow your future projects. Thank you. And I totally agree with I think we all agree with the issue that even though we plan A to Z, we are not very sure what we can actually select and when we can make a final decision making, because that's also what happened to us. We were making different alternatives and plans, but actually with the problems of deadline keep pushing away, and also the governments and the art councils are not making decisions because they have their own problems too. So we had to keep wait until they give us the answer if we could change it to another project, or if we could do something else, or when do we have to submit until, like, and what we actually have to follow. So I think for us, for the organization who gets most of the funding from the governmental organization, it was also difficult to make our own plan regarding the decisions of the different organizations. So it was, but the organization, I think for now, they have been understanding a lot about the situation, and then we could actually, so that's the reason why we could do Busan International Dance Market online. So I'm very happy with it. So, right, so let's continue. It was very great to hear from each of you. And now I think we could move on to the group talk. So what could actually happen and how we can actually do this? For us, we are focusing a lot on making a dance film to one of the backup plan instead of the performance. Of course, is different, but that's what we will focus for next year, our dance company and also the dance market. And I'm curious how you are trying to focus on regarding the international exchange.
If I can say a few words. Czech Ministry of Culture gave us opportunity to apply for money for digitalization. So they made extra call, and now we bought some stuff. Some is right now here, just delivered. So we have some new cameras and stuff. And my plan is that now when we will make a new open course for residencies, we will be able to support the artists by making some videos, some films, some online activities. So it's gonna be our new extra activity connected with artistic residencies. So this is kind of opportunity to do new things, and we have some video guys who know how to do it, and now they will have a lot of new experiences with dancers. Yeah.
Yes, Laura. I think we could just freely continue talking with our mics on.
Great.
Mhm.
For us, this was the first year that we were going to have, well, we're supposed to sign our 3-year collaboration agreement with Taiwan, with Wei Wu Ying.
Mhm.
And supposedly, our first idea was that there was a Spanish choreographer who was going to be in residency at one of the cultural centers in Taiwan in November. I was going to go to the Taiwan dance platform, and one choreographer, one presenter, and another director were coming to the certamen. Since we knew that was not going to happen, we have changed. We've changed the project, and it will be this exchange will be happening with the dance film, and it's called Freedom of Movement because it's the way that we can move right now. And what we're planning to do for this year, there have been 5 dance films selected for the Taiwan Dance Project, dance platform, and we will be presenting them. They're short films. We will be presenting them in the venue, but also online through our website and our social media. But there is also Kaohsiung, or Wei Wu Ying developed a new app with the Digital Arts Foundation. It's called Virtual Stage, and we are going to be opening up a special call for applications for Spanish choreographers. These are very, very brief 1-minute choreographies that with this application will be will take place in the virtual stage in different parts of Wei Wu Ying. And we will have 30 1-minute choreographies that will be presented in Taiwan, and on their website, and in the certamen and on our websites, to also give visibility and make this exchange something alive. Of course, it is our plan to have for 2021, and my fingers are crossed and everything else, that we will actually be traveling, because it's a good way to promote and to foster creativity on one level. It doesn't substitute the real live part of it, but it was a way for us to be able to move when we can't move.
So we did already, because we have the educational program, which I started 2 years ago. We have the dance photography and dance movies. So we are regularly, like now it was the 2nd edition. We did the school for dance movies. So as part of the festival in June, we actually did 7 different dance movies with a collaboration with really young dancers, because the festival UKREP, it's actually the festival for dance perspectives. So that was really a huge success. And also we had an open call for the people who were supposed to come. For instance, the company from Hong Kong and from Italy. So they actually send us the videos and films. So we selected also 5 of them to show live as part of the festival. So we are continuing with this kind of work. We have the 2nd edition of we are continuing to educate people to make dance movies, and to what's really important, how you present yourself with good videos. So that is one thing. But actually what we experienced, it's the problem is that, yeah, live performances cannot be the same in a digital way. I'm sorry. So I'm still having high hopes, and my program for the festival, which is supposed to be like bigger, I spread it into the 3 waves. So in January, I will do whatever I can with the neighbor countries and with the local artists. And then in June, I'm actually having high hopes that people from Asia, Africa, and all around can also join us at the festival. So yeah, it is one possibility. It's really a good example. You can find really nice people who are able to do, and you can educate also artists how to present pieces. But it's different, I think, also for the audience.
For us, in a way, the challenge going into the network and visual kind of to go straight into the filming shows and screening them on social media was really the beginning of the first kind of closure that we had here in March, which the government kind of offered all kind of grants for doing that, and creating the virtual kind of space for culture and artists. From the beginning, I had a problem with that. First of all, that it's like, again, it's politically, in a way, a suggestion that restricts something and makes it contain in a field which is not really suitable for the field that we are dealing with. And on top of the chaos from the pandemic, it created the chaos of how to file the right thing, how to do the right thing, what is working, what is not working, etc., etc. And in a way, I didn't see anything, or I didn't feel that the things that were kind of published were effective enough for this situation. What we as a company try to do, and we are still trying to do, is to reach out and to create links with other institutes or artists, or even to go, I mean, if we had a situation that the museum were still open, to do things inside the museum, or to work with museums or galleries, universities, schools were kind of doing researches to reach out for these kind of places and to start some kind of a dialogue and exchanges of thoughts, and if possible, to start a process of some sort of process to deliver after a while. I feel that the approach of going into connecting performing arts and screens or film needs to be much more developed than it is at the moment, because it kind of stays very flat, and it needs to be something which has like a real connection with filmmakers and choreographers and dancers or artists, not to try, okay, inside the community of dance to do what is the right film to reach out, but to create the links that will maybe do something new, that will stimulate something new, and not to be just, okay, just to justify the situation and how to manage to kind of overcome the situation and deliver what we do on screen, because it's really, really hard. It's really hard to experience performances on stage through the screens. It's a different kind of experience, and it needs to be thought differently how to do that. And in the same time, I think in many places in the world, there's like, it connects to the political kind of situation of like the pandemic and political situation, and whether, I mean, how the arts and culture are suffering from both issues very, very strongly, how to kind of overcome it and how to reach out and how to communicate. And I really believe that it's a time, and it's really happening, to reach out for education more and more. So it's a time to focus and to go into how to educate and how to communicate and how to collaborate with the education system as well, children and adults, which also have their own kind of problems. But I do think and believe that by thinking in a different way, it can be something that breaks the tough situation of like kids are just, you know, zooming out the entire day and don't have any communication with anyone except like trying to solve Wi-Fi connections or how to avoid connections and stuff like that. So I think it's a possibility to kind of to think how to break it and know how to make like something that will keep us going in a way. So, and it is frustrating and it is hard, but as long as we have energies and hopes, I think it will keep on going. So this is, I think it's super important to do that.
Can I just jump in opposite to Jan's situation? The ministry or the financiers gave them the equipment or the money for the digitalization. In our case, the Ministry of Culture doesn't respect or doesn't allow us to have premieres and performances online. Like, so we need to have it live, even we are closed. So this is the situation, which is not really nice, and that's why we did several options also for the festival. And what we did, how you said, what's really important, we are doing this educational program, and we are involving and collaborating with the Academy for Dance. So these are like really young dancers who actually were part of this dance movies. And from them, we will select 5 of them to give them opportunity to make big like project with 10 minutes, and then in June 20 minutes. So, but live. So they will keep going and collaborating with the filmmakers, and also we will actually give them the support to make performances live. So this is something.
So when you say,
we are,
I was just asking, when you say live, do you mean live streamed, or you have audiences coming in to the theater?
We are still open. I don't know on Monday if this will, because now we are the red zone, we are closed again, but we have performances from June till now, actually. So our theater is open, but we have just, instead of 90 seats, we had 22. Now allowed is now just 10, but we will still try to make performances because.
Can I ask you a question about that? Because
yes.
I'm going to ask you a question, if you don't mind, because we might be heading into your situation, which is a limited number of seating. And so I'm curious how the audience is responding to that. Are they snapping up those seats, or are they really afraid to come in, or what is their reaction to that?
It takes time. It depends. In the beginning, because we were the first one to say, yeah, we are the safe country, and also quite a lot of things were outdoor, the people were like really coming. But nowadays we are all, because all the programs actually moved to autumn time, and it's packed. Each day there are several events, and we just have limited seats. And what I'm now hearing and experiencing, that people are not really coming. And this is the situation we will need to start from the beginning when this COVID is off. I think it's the same with the international collaborations. If we will not keep in touch, we are actually at the beginning. And also with the audience, we actually had this audience development program, but we lost more than half of the audience people. So some of them, they're coming, but not really like, yeah, I want to be there. Because some of them, they are afraid. Some of them, I don't know. I don't have the cure for that. Not yet.
Can I contribute?
Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Laura.
They're listening to the three of you. On the one hand, I think for us, going forward we have a lot of small projects, the residencies, they involve few people traveling, and we're working very hard to make sure that those things happen. So I have the feeling that sometimes the larger event is more vulnerable, but we're trying to make sure that there is a network or a basis of many small, those small scale activities keep happening. We've had, in terms of education, we've been working for the past 5 years with local high schools with a project called This Is Not a Selfie. And it works on, it's working with teenagers on questions of identity, working through dance and working through the creative process. And this happens during the school hours. So we do it, as part of the curriculum. We haven't started this year yet. It's worked very, very well in the past, and it's done a lot of very positive things for the community, for the group itself, in terms also, and also have provided, we've seen lots of very interesting work coming out of it as well. We're working on trying to find a way to connect with the students this year and with the teachers, especially because we feel like everything is happening on Zoom, and we need to have, even if it's virtual, we need to have something that's actually physically embodied and getting people moving and creating. And the educational system right now, certainly in Madrid, where there's a national policy, but now all of the coronavirus policies and security policies, health policies have been transferred to the different regions. And there's a great deal of disagreement between the central government and some of the regions as to what measures should be taken or not. So the educational system right now, classes began in September, and we are just beginning to connect with the teachers again, because everything has been so chaotic. But for us, it's really important to be able to offer some kind of real content that gives the students and teachers something else, another aspect to work on. And in terms of audience attendance, the performances that I've been going to in larger theaters and smaller theaters have been very well attended. My question is, who is attending? Because there's an active dance community. When you have like 50%, house size in a theater with 270 seats, that's 135 people. How many people, are from the general public, and how many people are from the community, the dance community and the arts community that wants to support it? I think people, if it's a very well-known artist, then the general public doesn't have a problem with going. And there's been a campaign here about, culture is safe. And it's true. I mean, to get into a theater here, they take your temperature, you have your feet, you sterilize your shoes, you sterilize your hands, you wear your mask, the seats are separate. And there haven't been any cases of any kind of contagion happening through attending cultural events. But people are going to the theater. I just don't know if it's the general public.
I was going to say that I worked for a number of years. I went to school for dance and theater, but then also worked in film. So I did film production for a number of years. And when people started making the shift quickly to moving everything online, one of the things that I noticed was how can I say this? How badly the dance world was trying to force their knowledge of film, or force their knowledge of film and dance to come together. So there were, I would say, roughly speaking, looked like a kind of like an archival, dance film with a little bit closer. And the thing about film is that you got to really like someone was saying that you got to really, really marry the two. I guess Jan was saying that they have to, the camera gets, you can see people's pores, in your skin. And it's interesting to see people's pores. You have to see movement at a really different level. It's like it's a completely different, entirely different art. I actually noticed, as far as dance films, that I was wondering with the artists that, had work, they did a really nice job on the videos for those, because I'm wondering is there somebody in South Korea, is your government video those for everybody, or are they responsible to do that all for themselves? Do you have like one sort of company that does all? When we were working in Venezuela, and we worked out at the university in Caracas, they had their film team there, that shot everything. They had a 3-camera shoot. So everything that went on stage got a 3-camera shoot, beautifully shot. They knew how to, they've been doing it. They've been trained to do it. And so everything had this kind of really glossy look to it, which was really nice. So I'm actually wondering, in watching the videos, am I allowed to ask a question of the of the artists? I'm wondering who did the videos. Did you all do them by yourselves, or was there one company that did all the videos? Because I noticed there's some similarities in the shooting between those. So that's one question, but I want to say that our event that's coming up in February, speaking about Laura's small and large, I have a dance company. So we engage in collaborations internationally with artists that I find affinity with. And then the festival is much larger. So there's so many more, companies than our company could ever have relationships with. So we do have a small capacity, and it's interesting because I worry, in some cases, I don't really worry about the small, as you were mentioning. I worry about the big event and just the tentacles of all of it. And it keeps me up at night thinking like all the things that could go wrong. So that's that. But in February, we're doing this event, and Kambata Dance Company invites a company. And this year we won't likely be able to do that. Last year, we actually invited a South Korean company that got in 3 days before we closed the border to South Korea. So luckily they got in just before that happened, which was amazing. And we were so lucky. It came off really wonderfully. Your national television was there and did interviews with everybody. And then like 3 days later, everything shut down after the performances. So we just got it in there on both sides. So this year we're actually switching over. So there will be films, and to make it feel live, we're actually going to have for our film, we'll have a live screening with the dancers, but we want to invite films that are really well done from other countries, because we can't do what we were planning on doing. So I'm looking for actually, to sort of start relationships through an sort of backwards way, like to see people's work on film or see them making dance film, and then see what kind of affinities there are in terms of how we might eventually work later, and when we can in person, in the real, people. So yeah, those two things. So that one question I had for the artists about their video, and that I'm curious to hear if anyone will mention.
So I just have a question for Cyrus again about your questions. Your questions was to the artist was who are making their videos, right? Are they making it themselves, or is there someone who does it for all of your projects or some parts? Is it?
Yeah, that's basically the question. I mean, I saw in 3 of the videos in particular, I saw a very, very similar shooting style. So I was just wondering if those 3 were all shot by one, company, or how it works in maybe South Korea. It works for everybody the same, or maybe it's very different for each artist. I don't know.
I see. The video that you mentioned, is it for our program, the BIDAM?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Am I
Okay.
allowed to talk about that?
Okay. So I should answer. So for the challenge program, they had a performance with no audience on the same day. The 6 team had, and we supported with the video video maker and also the editor. So probably that's the reason why it has the similar style. But for the BIDAM
Focus,
program, they made their own videos and they already had their videos and then they submitted the video to us. So I'm not 100% sure who made it, but some of the videos were made from PAMS, some was made from CDAMs, and some other was made from like an ARCO. So if the festival is collaborating with the video artist, then I think there could be a possibility that it was made from not exactly the same team, but maybe they got influenced by each other. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I'm actually wondering which of those is the case, but it's not that essential.
I see. But I read where the videos were made, but actually it was all different productions.
Okay, interesting.
But I think because it's also new for them, and where they are getting their ideas and inspiration to make a video, probably the basic way is to watch how others made. And I think that must be the reason why you think that it looks very similar.
Thank you.
Right. Is there anyone who would like to bring up the last comments for the session? Because otherwise I will do the closing announcement. Yes, Laura.
I want to thank you all, because I think that we've had so many meetings, I think, among, in our own contexts and strategizing meetings and things, but I find really interesting your reflections and the proposals and things that are happening. I found this very, very useful. And I want to thank you all.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it was also for us, it was a good way to see how you are making your plans and how you're dealing with it. I think it would help us a lot to think what we could do for next year and also the future. Of course, I cross my finger that we could all meet soon. But like plan A and plan B's and C's, I think it was very helpful for us as well. It was grateful to meet all of you online.
Thank you for joining us. So let's keep and going. Let's share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we will close the official part of the round table, And with the special delegates only, I just would like to go over the plans just for a short minute. Yes, thank you. 네, 이렇게 그 부산국제춤마켓의 라운드테이블 프로그램을 마치겠습니다. 현재 지금 관객으로서 들어와 계신 분들은 모두 퇴장을 해주시면 되겠습니다. 곧 이어서 또 다른 프로그램들이 준비되어 있으니까요. 똑같은 줌 아이디와 패스워드를 가지고 또 참가해 주시기를 바라겠습니다. 감사합니다. 네, 소담아 나가주시면 되겠습니다. 소담 씨.
They've gone to get something to eat.
Yeah. And for you too. Refill the coffee and some snacks. I think you need it.
The breakfast.
Oh yes, breakfast for us is.